Who has a 100-word summary of the trouble you guys got into last week?
We basically kind of went over it a little earlier. Is we spared White Snake's life because we suddenly had. I mean, where did that come from?
Adrex.
That person does not exist right now.
Then we came here, dropped down.
Yep. And proceeded to play basically how Burker plays Metal Gear Solid 3.
Except instead of grass, we hid in the water.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm much better at that
hiding.
game now than I used to be. But we only need to.
Just wait until the end of this session when I start running towards guys and hitting circle.
Just flick the joystick down to slam.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So this is the map that I didn't have time to white space out. So last week, Treble, you had come in using the water into the House of the Red Star and came up into this main temple chamber. Well, into the pool that's in that main temple chamber before escaping back. Red, you had come into this second story entrance here and come down this long hallway and back.
Oh, is this upside down now?
No. It's the same way. I mean,
I was
always
upside
been
down.
upside down.
Tetris was upside down. That was the problem. Okay,
You
yeah,
were
that's
upside down.
There were two stairways leading down to the first floor here. Wendy, this is the room here where you saw the curls of smoke coming up and out.
Okay.
And the rest of this stuff you guys haven't seen yet. And right now, everybody, they're searching the water. They got word that somebody was in the water, and you guys swiftly got out of the water and came outside along the back wall here.
Yeah.
You do see silvery light pouring out of these two windows in the stone. But they're high up off the ground from where you are.
How big are these windows? And are they paned?
They are not paned. And you can't tell from this angle whether or not they're shuttered. Notably, it looks... Actually, yeah, these would be big enough for you to move through, because these are the big windows in the back of the temple. You'd have to climb up about 15 feet of wall to get to the base of them, though. They're up off the ground a bit. And then presumably when you climb through them, you're going to have to find a way down as well.
That's an option.
But it's relatively quiet along this back wall right now. Nobody's coming this way.
Just to refresh my memory on what we're actually doing here, we're here to assassinate the matriarch, get a staff.
Esau, yeah.
Are we here to assassinate or save the other Yuan-ti scientist guy? Like, I'm a little iffy on that because, like, on the one hand, he's like, no, this is an evil cult, but on the other hand, the same arguments Red made against the other snake kind of apply to him. He's really still a Yuan-ti. And the fact of the matter is he invented this virulent poison.
You were told that he was useful to you because if anybody would know how to safely eliminate what's left of the poison, or if any is being stored down in the city, he would have those points of information.
Okay.
After he had established the lab and came back down to the city, his basic job was as a liaison between those two groups. Which is now you've come to learn why he's kind of being held accountable for the fall of this lab, for what happened up there last month.
Okay.
Which wasn't his fault at all. I forget whose fault it was, but it was totally your guys' fault.
I don't remember that. I would remember that.
Yeah, no, I'm
not sure about that one.
We're culpable. I think we're culpable, but anyway.
Okay, we can get rid of this. Boop.
Okay.
I've never been culpable for anything. I don't even know what a culp is.
So what's next?
Let's play D&D, cat.
So I think what we do is we sneak around, possibly.
We were actually told, like, Red was asking questions, wasn't he? He was asking questions about the guy. Did we learn where he was being held?
I don't know that I actually got a location.
You didn't. You learned that he has 2 daughters, one of which was slain when they came to take him from his house. And he had a particularly special, I guess is the word, half-orc manservant. And nobody has seen this manservant since he was taken. And this would have happened here at the Malison quarters.
Okay.
So, no, I think we probably do need to split up and try and do some of this to some degree, like, independently.
Okay.
Yeah, I think all of us working all at the same time is I just because it's honestly just going to end up with a lot of us just kind of sitting here crying and waiting. And I think we'll be able to make a lot more headway if we split up and can work.
Split up, gang.
So I think that the first thing we should try and do is see what we can do about, like, right now they're really on alert inside the church, but if we can somehow draw them away from there, I think what we should try and do is start by assassinating that priestess. I think climbing in through these rear windows might be the cleanest way to do it.
What did you think about the idea of that I briefly said might be terrible? Since we're going to split up anyway, like, maybe since they've seen me and they've only seen me,
right?
If I run around and try and avoid them as much as possible, and like basically draw their attention away from where you guys are working.
Okay. Well, I was kind of hoping that you and me could go in there and do this assassination. Is the thing.
I mean, you two have done something like this before. I mean,
so I don't know if there's
a much easier
good way to get get a large number of people's attention outside of this area. If anybody has an idea for that.
So let's mark our objectives on this map. Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is I'm putting down red chips at the places where you know an alert is happening.
Okay.
These are places that are almost certainly unsafe to enter at the moment.
The other thing I was thinking was, I do have one of these spikes, and I believe Raazu also has one of these spikes.
Yeah.
Getting the staff, we could maybe use the spike to get out after we do that. Like, if that's going to be the thing
just
that causes
lay your
the high
hands
alert.
on it and lay hands on it, and then blink out.
Because we can't necessarily use it to get the scientist out, but I feel like it's gonna it'd probably work for an object.
Do we feel like the staff is in that room too?
It might have been. It's from the which room?
The White Snakes. It's
said
the White Snakes property.
They said the
Staff's
staff
over here. Okay, and so I'm sorry, I missed where the scientist is though.
We don't know.
We don't know. I haven't found that
We're
yet.
still looking for that.
The other thing I know is the cupbearer of the Waterman, one of those prodigious slaves, is a woman named Esta. I could try and cause some trouble with that, because that would apparently cause problems for the matriarch as well.
Honestly, nothing is more distracting than a slave revolt being primed. And I think I can work that route.
I do also, as an extra, just an extra, so you guys know, I do have a potion of etherealness that could be used as another escape.
How many people can drink that?
Just one, but like it's like for one person. Like if you have the spike, so I have the potion of etherealness, or
right,
Raazu has the spike,
or if we find the scientist but he's behind bars.
Right, we can give it to him and get him out.
Chug this and get him out, yeah.
Because he could basically float to the top of the, because you can move in any direction while you're under etherealness, so he could literally just float up, straight up.
Yeah, but there's also guards up there.
Fewer than down here.
I mean, he could literally just keep going up for 8 hours.
So what I'm thinking to do is, I really need like a slave so that I can go into the Malison quarters claiming that I'm trying to deliver someone. And unfortunately, we don't have any contacts with the slaves yet. I don't have anyone helping us there, and I don't have a good plan for getting someone there that we would know to trust to help us.
As a thought, you could take me and say that I have information about, I don't know, attack from a dragon. Like
hey Burke, have I seen like what their slaves are wearing or anything? What would I need to do to disguise Birdie as a slave? Do I know yet?
Judging by the Yuan-ti city you used to live at, slaves were typically marked by the house that owned them, whoever was in charge of them, so there wasn't one identifying characteristic, other than if you're not a Yuan-ti, you're probably a slave if you're in the city.
So wouldn't think raise a lot of... Oh, sorry.
As long as you're disguised and you manage to make your deception checks, you're pretty confident you can pass Birdie off as a slave. Probably not a very important one, though, because he is a kobold.
Right.
Maybe it'd be easier to pass me off as a prisoner.
Or a meal.
Yeah. Well, just like I said, maybe we could get in somewhere if you said I had information. Maybe we could...
I could tell them that I don't know. That's above my pay grade, which would be accurate. I don't know why I'm bringing this slave to you. But, yeah, my thought is you and I should sneak in at this point while things cool down at the church. We should sneak in over one of the other walls and then try and investigate the Malison quarters.
So you thinking split up?
I think I need to bring one of you as a slave, and Wendy's probably a little bit too obvious.
Well, you guys do that then, because I don't know that I'll be any good in the slave pens. I'll go over here to the rally point, try to see if the scientist is kept there, because worst case scenario, if I get spotted and caught back there, it'll at least draw people away from the places we know where we want to be.
So when you're thinking about coming down here to...
Yeah.
Okay.
Blow the horn twice if you get caught.
All right.
So if we're not gonna pose Birdie as a slave then, or
yeah, no, that's what we're gonna do. We have to slip inside the walls first.
I wonder what the relationship with hobgoblins is with the Yuan-ti. Is it still just slavery?
Oh yeah,
everything's slavery. It's all slavery.
So
slaves all the way down.
I think we can safely, at least tentatively, assume that the scientist is not in here because you're walking back and forth. Somebody would have said something.
I'm pretty sure he's not. I guess the other option is Birdie. You could sneak in somewhere else and investigate a bit more on your own, and I could bring Raazu in. I feel like it's a harder time to get Raazu back out.
Yeah, right. I feel like Raazu is best off doing her aggression work with the slaves. Raazu's very good at teaching people aggression.
Oh, do you think we should send Raazu down to maybe incite the slave revolt?
I thought that's what your plan was, Raazu.
That was my plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can probably get you inside into the slave pens and give you a cover story that won't immediately get you caught. But I think if anyone asks you any complicated questions... Oh, also, you would need to speak Yuan-ti, because nobody here... So just don't say anything. And anyone who's trying to pass themselves off as a slave, these slaves don't know any languages of their own.
All of the second-generation slaves would speak only Yuan-ti. Any first-generation slaves would still retain their original languages. And all of the taskmasters that you were given a list of all the taskmasters, these would all be first-generation slaves. You were also told, though, that they're fiercely loyal to their Yuan-ti masters.
Right.
This includes Esta, the waterman.
Alright, so you want to sneak over the wall on the east side, Birdie, or maybe see if we can follow the water?
The east side.
I'm sorry, the west side.
Right, yeah, I was confused.
This thing's upside down.
I think we can come in. Yeah, let's do that. Let's sneak around back over here.
Yep.
And then see if we can't climb. How high is this wall? I know you said it's not it's not really a line of defense for them.
It varies because the geography varies. Where you're at back here is higher than out at the front area. It's still not a remarkably high wall, though. Only about 20 feet at its highest point. And there are no towers either back here, because the wall of the outer wall of the city and the natural stone wall of this ravine are very close in here. Here, where the wall goes up this hill, it actually does get taller, but it seems to maintain about 20 to 25 feet above the ground.
Okay. So we could scale that if we needed to, but it would be tough going.
Actually, it probably wouldn't even be that tough, because, I mean, it would only take you 2 rounds to get up to the top of the wall, because it only halves your speed.
Oh, okay. Oh, if it's 25 feet, I could get... If it's 20 feet, I could get up there in 1 round.
Yeah, if you've got 40 feet of movement, you can climb it in 1 round.
Yeah.
But no, it's not going to be a difficult wall to climb. It has been storming and raining real bad, but you guys are way back in the ravine at this point, so the walls back here aren't even slick. There's not even mud back here, because you're way past the opening.
Alright, so just to double check, because my brain doesn't work. Alert here, we want to avoid this place for now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Red and possibly me are going in here to look for the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy's going to go check out here, I'm assuming to look for the scientist.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Raazu's going here to possibly incite a slave revolt and secondary look for the scientist.
She's gonna go check out the tastemakers.
Yeah.
Tastemakers. Okay. Wait. That's not what that... Okay, never mind.
All right. Let's get a stealth check from everybody to get where you're going. If you fail this check, you'll have the opportunity to use some stealth points to make it instead.
Stealth points.
I've not used any yet, but I'm sure that's about to change, because I have to roll this at disadvantage.
Is Red going to escort... Like, I thought we were just going to here, and then, like, Red was going to escort.
Yeah, so my thought is we'll come over here, we'll slip over the wall, and then we'll just approach to the front door, and I'll say I'm bringing you inside because I was ordered to.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
All right.
I got a 17 on that stealth check.
Okay, what did Birdie get?
I got a 19.
And Wendy?
18.
18. And Raazu?
6.
A 6. Would anybody like to use some stealth points to get where you're going unnoticed?
No, I'm sorry, a 5.
A 5? Well, same question. Still.
I feel good about 18. 18 sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm alright.
I would like to spend 3 stealth points for that, thank you.
Okay. Alright, go ahead and place your tokens at your positions. Raazu.
We were going to come in here, right?
Yeah.
Oops, I stole red.
So I will stage right here until...
So are you guys coming over this wall, or are you going under
I was
this
planning to
river?
sneak back here, and then... Wow, I'm blue for once. That's weird. And then go over this wall.
Okay. You do see, as you come around this side of the wall, there is an outside door here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is only a 1-floor structure, so it's actually at the ground level. However, you see where the door has been kind of cemented over its seams. It looks like it will not open.
Okay.
Okay.
Where's the C4?
Don't know yet. You gotta beat Ocelot first.
Alright.
We're gonna start with Raazu.
Hey.
So coming over the wall,
and
you managed to get to the area here.
Slipping over the wall and into the channels and making my way along the channels through here.
Okay. So you're going to stay in the river and go under these, because you've got to go down about 15 feet or so through these kind of carved channels where the water flows down through essentially these underground water slides underneath.
Sounds like fun.
So which one? This one or this one?
Yeah, this one, because it's closer to where my goal is.
And it narrows a little bit, so almost what looks like a sewer channel. You see, again, where there were iron bars at this archway at the top, where the water flows in underneath these stairs, but the bars have since been removed. And you feel the water dragging you faster, and you try to descend slowly so as to keep aware of what's at the bottom, but the water sweeps you. And you arrive at the bottom faster than you expected, and at the last moment you manage to catch yourself by cramming your boots against the ground and throwing your shoulder against the wall to stop your descent. And it's a good thing, too, because there is actually an artificial island built into the center of where a lot of the water meets. Here, the water just kind of flowing in and around this. And there is a great amount of activity. As you reach the bottom, just before you break through the archway at the bottom of the stairs, there's a great splash right in front of you as an orc crashes into the water. And you see one of his arms has been badly mangled and bloodied. And his eyes open real wide as he's grimacing in pain. With his good arm, you see him try to get his orientation underwater and get back to the surface. And for a moment, he locks eyes on you and sees you in the archway. And he's about to move when a spear comes down through the water, pierces him through the neck, and he bleeds out. His blood travels away from you, and you're not spotted.
Okay, yeah, I'll hold my position here for the time being.
And as you watch, the spear is retracted, and the orc begins, carried by the current, battered against the side wall of this artificial island. And two great arms reach down, and you realize they're snake arms that latch on to this orc at the neck and one in the flesh under his arm and pull him up out of the water and onto the island.
Okay.
What's next?
So how would I get into the building where the taskmasters reside?
Like most of the buildings, the water does flow underneath it. Whether or not it pulls up anywhere inside, you don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if there's any point of access from the waterways.
Okay. You wait a moment till you hear a similar splash somewhere out of your line of sight on the other side of an island, and consider that would be a good time for you to shoot forward. And it does indeed flow underneath, but the opening will be too small for you to squeeze into. Birdie could squeeze into this. It's similar to the one that flowed underneath the temple.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the current along here. And does this look like a pretty quiet corner over here? Over on this side?
Come around this way?
Yeah.
You're going against the current. If you're going this direction, all the currents flow to where this island is.
Okay. That's fine. I'll push against the current then.
And get in there, you see a similar opening underneath the doorway here. And it is more quiet here. There's no more splashes as you reach this point.
Okay. Then I'll breach the surface of the water and then kind of tuck myself into the corner back here.
Okay.
And see if there's and is there anybody coming and going in this area?
You press yourself up against the back wall there.
Yeah.
And when you come out of the water, you start hearing very clearly the noises from the island. It sounds like the Yuan-ti are having some sort of sport with some number of their slaves.
Okay.
But you don't see anybody coming or going
along that way?
Down these stairs or out this door or across the bridges that crisscross the water at this point.
Then I will enter in here.
Sneak inside?
Yeah.
Okay. You find the building to be silent as you come in. The doors are actually standing open.
Mm-hmm.
As you climb into where this bridge meets the base of the doors underneath. You peek inside, and you see what to your eyes looks like individual cells with strong iron bars, none of which are closed at the moment. and they just open into these small living quarters where you see very bare bones, essentially just a strong box in each one. Some of them are open, some of them are closed. In the back of each of these cells is a pit in the floor, circular, big enough that you'd be able to shoulder through, with rope ladders attached and thrown downwards. But nobody else is in here at the moment.
There's nobody in any of these chambers?
As you sneak back towards the front doors here, no, and you'd be able to see because they're just iron bars. Even if the doors were closed, you'd be able to see into these little cells.
Okay, so it's not like that. Like it's like all bars, all along all these.
Yes, cages essentially.
Okay. We'll step into this one. Or wait, I can't because they're closed, right?
No, they're open. All the doors are open.
All right, I'll peer down the hole in this one.
Okay.
I got 60 feet of dark vision, so let's see what that
Peering down that,
tells me.
You see a very badly kept, cramped little living space. You see like food bones and such strewn around, some dirty rags. Whoever lives down in these quarters is not the cleanliest of peoples, and you hear soft snoring from below as well.
Okay, so let me locate my notes real quick.
Okay.
Because my note, if you want to step to somebody else for the time being, I'll locate my notes on the people that were kept here.
Vindy.
That's me.
So you're standing at the outside right now. This door has been cemented over at the seams. It looks like this was an entrance into the outer wall long ago, but the Yuan-ti have blocked it up, so it no longer opens. At least until you find some C4.
At least until I find the C4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to... Are these windows actually here?
They're arrow loops. So they are windows in the sense that they open up, but you won't be able to go through them.
That's fine. I kind of want to flutter up to the roof up here.
Okay.
And then just kind of spend a little bit of time listening in from above each of these loops. See if I can hear anything.
Okay. Which one, specifically?
Let's start with like kind of in the middle here.
Okay.
How much of this, just like to get out of character in order to get into character, how much of this do we know here? Because there's a lot of interior layout here.
You don't know any of the interior layouts of this building.
Okay.
Red would know a lot about the layout of this building because he was inside of it.
Yeah.
But I just ran out of time.
Let's just try the middle here then.
You don't speak Yuan-ti, but
no.
Listening at the window. First of all, are you perching at the edge, or are you kind of in at a foot or two back from the window?
I think I'm going to perch on the edge.
Okay. From this position, you do hear the faint sounds off to your... I had to look at the compass rose. Northeast, because the map is upside down. I should just spin this compass rose around.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, real quick, north.
Essentially, you're hearing the sounds of fighting from this direction.
Wait, from which direction?
The northeast, down here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So each of these squares is about 20 feet, so it's a good distance from you. But it's splashing and fighting and screaming is all happening, and the sound does carry. Listening here, though, you do hear the sounds of speech inside. You can't understand what's being said, because it's being said in Red's horrible snake language.
Yeah.
But it feels angry to you. Make an insight check at disadvantage, because you do not speak the language.
Uh-huh. You got it. That would be a 16.
16. You have a few words of this tongue here and there, having traveled with Red for so long and having some interactions with the white snake. And it's difficult to pinpoint what's being said. But you put together that the argument seems to be between a Yuan-ti of high standing and an underling. Like, one of the voices seems subservient. The other voice seems to be commanding. The commanding voice seems to be the one that's more angry. It sounds like he's complaining about being given orders and disagreeing with those orders, but having to follow them anyway.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. And then I think I'll just move on to the next window, because I don't think either of those people would be the scientist I'm looking for.
Okay. And you don't hear anything at this window.
All right. What about the last one?
You don't hear anything there as well.
Okay. So, I think, except for checking this one on the way back, I just kind of want to get a sense for what the snake pens are. Like, whether it's giant snakes, whether this is like small, like whether this is a sassy phrase.
To hear the white snake tell it, this is where they keep the actual animals that they train. Snakes of all shapes and sizes.
So nothing super buffed out then. I
don't know that I would make that assumption. But yeah, the Yuan-ti, they're able to speak to and command natural snakes. Red has never done this, to your knowledge. At least I can't remember Red having ever done this. So I'm going to leave that up to you.
When do we even run into snakes?
We run into you.
True, but if at any point you would have been like, hey, I want to go charm a bunch of snakes. And as far as I know, that's never happened. So you've been told that the Yuan-ti can do this with snakes, but you've never actually seen it, so you really don't know what to expect in the snake pens.
Okay. Then I think my time is best served kind of creeping my way along the walls here, kind of taking advantage of the fact that I can just read the winds, and I'm going to try to get a good sense of like where guards usually stand, where they patrol.
As soon as you kind of come down onto this wall, you note 2 guards here, guarding the outside of the military, but they seem distracted.
All right.
And there's nobody patrolling the actual wall.
Okay. Good to know. All right, I think then I've discovered enough stuff on my phase here that I'm ready to start heading back looking for the others. Let them know, 1, I know someone who's not happy, and 2, something's going down at the rally point.
Birdie and Red. You're sneaking up to the Malison quarters?
Yep. Well, sneaking over the wall and then just over to the Malison quarters.
Okay, Red, you made a disguise check last session. Go ahead and make me a deception check. You can make this at advantage because of your disguise is still in place. I realize it's just a formality asking a rogue for a skill check.
No, it's...
Well...
They still got to get that level.
That's still... Can I spend stealth on deception? Stealth points?
Well, yeah, if you want.
Let's go ahead and... Let's see here. So that only becomes a 10. How many stealth points do I have? I have a lot.
You have all of
that
them.
on this one.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and spend the 5 stealth points.
Okay.
Get a real good disguise.
The difficulty is, no matter how good your disguise is or how good your words are, you have to explain to people that this kobold you're bringing is a slave. And that's a hard sell. Kobolds have no value, really. One piece of information you do pick up that's very curious is, at first, you're directed to the snake pens.
Uh-huh.
A prisoner that small, that's where you need to take him.
Mm-hmm.
But you manage to twist the conversation around and make somebody
I'm
believe
going to play it off that I'm as surprised as you are that I've been told to do this, but I don't question orders.
And yeah, you do get into the Malison quarters. This is a 1-story structure, and it looks like they have tried to make some of these rooms more comfortable. But remember, much earlier in eons past, this would have been a site of tombs, of catacombs, under the earth. So there are many levels going down underneath this.
Did Whitesnake give us any specific instructions on where to look for this staff, or where his personal or family abode would have been?
Most of the mid-level Malisons, like Whitesnake, would have had family quarters on one of the levels below, and yes, you were told where to find these quarters.
All right, then that's where we head.
Do you have Birdie in chains, or are you just grabbing him by the scruff of the neck, or what?
Hey,
I don't think we have any
Raazu,
chains.
could I have retroactively borrowed your manacles?
Raazu doesn't have manacles.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems out of character.
You'll remember, once upon a time, Raazu desecrated the corpse of another Maglubiat.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to replace them.
I'll have rope.
Okay.
Obviously, he's so small he doesn't need chain. He just has some rope around his wrists.
Are you actually binding him, or are you putting
No,
a
it's a
knot
slip knot. If you put any pressure on it, it would slide right off.
Okay, so Birdie, you're not actually bound at all. As a free action, you can slip this knot.
Okay, so if we gotta stab some people, all right.
So these rooms here are not living quarters.
Mm-hmm.
By which I mean these side rooms here.
Yeah,
These are meeting halls and dining halls and commons areas. And as you step into the building, you hear great vigorous discussion happening in this room off to your right. It sounds like a lot of people talking over each other, a lot of disagreement happening.
Is there anyone watching us right now?
There are people in this room with you, but other than the two guys you were just speaking with that you convinced that Birdie's a slave you were commanded to bring here for some reason. So people can see you, but nobody's eyeing you suspiciously or watching you with intent.
I'll make my way down to the stairs down, but I'll do it kind of slowly and see how much I can eavesdrop.
Okay, make a perception check.
That would be a perception of 19.
19. Listening to just the cacophony of voices and the arguments, you're not going to be able to pick out anything. So instead, you kind of focus on one or two of the voices and see if you can follow them through the labyrinth of the discussion. What a lot of them are fighting about is apparently they have dredged the hydroloth that you killed underwater out of the river and have pulled it ashore. And the discussion is what these creatures were and what their intent was and what's to be done now. Some people think they are emissaries of the Red Star, and others are thinking that can't possibly be the case. Apparently the matriarchs are going to be weighing in on this, but that hasn't happened yet. There's a lot of dissent amongst the rank and file.
Okay.
When you come back into this room here, you can almost just feel the weight of the necropolis beneath you. This is a very drafty room as you come in. And there's these great stone stairs leading down into darkness.
Yep, and I'll start making my way down and see if I can't find a Kill's family or personal chambers.
Okay. Birdie, are you doing anything special during this time, or just being led around?
No, I'm just being led around by Red. Like, I don't want to blow his cover.
Okay.
They might actually feed me to the snakes if I do that.
When you come down, Red, into the necropolis, you don't know how many levels there are, but you know how many levels Whitesnake told you to go down.
Yep.
It's like that scene in Metal Gear where you just go up and up and up and up the stairs. That's what's going to happen at the end of this when you get chased out of here. Just
right.
Be on.
There's the mandatory alert at the bottom.
Yeah. What about the elevator with the invisible guards?
So you go down some number of floors, and each landing opens up into 3 halls. One that goes directly in front of the landing, and then 2 at 45-degree angles, so it kind of makes a V shape.
Okay.
And these rooms are kind of butterflied off to the side. So each of these long, drafty hallways has many, many chambers that years ago would have held the remains of whoever held this fortress, but have now since been cleared out into living space for the Yuan-ti. Looking down one of these long passages, you see outside of the door that's supposed to lead to Whitesnake's family quarters. You see 2 people outside of it, and they're purebloods.
Okay.
They haven't noticed you yet.
Mm-hmm. Is there another family quarters in the immediate area?
Oh, there are, on either side of the hallway. You see where doors have been fitted into each of them.
I'll go into the opposite hallway,
Okay.
as if I'm going to deliver Birdie to one of the rooms there. Can I break line of sight when I do that? Is there a corner around the stairs or anything?
Yeah, you're standing at the landing, and you can see these two purebloods ahead of you. So if you go down either of the other two halls, you'll break their line of sight.
And then I'm gonna just try and listen, and I'll motion for Birdie to stay quiet and see if I can hear them saying or doing anything.
Okay. If they were saying anything, you're pretty sure you could hear it because it's very silent and very echoey down here.
Yeah.
But you don't hear anything from their direction. How long do you stay there?
Probably 3 minutes.
And after 3 minutes, nothing much has changed.
I'll motion to Birdie just to continue, and I'll go down the stairs.
Like, continue down the stairs with you? Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Just making sure you weren't sending me
And
off.
then, is there anyone else on the next lower level?
No, you're alone when you head down to the next level.
So I'll whisper to Birdie, alright, I don't know what they're doing. I'll see what I can do to figure it out. That was the room we were aiming for. That's where a kill stuff should be. So let's head back up. Probably wait here about 5 minutes first, head back up, and I'll see if I can't talk our way in there. I can't say, obviously, that I was asked to bring you there, because that would be, obvious.
Was there a guard in front of the door?
There were two purebloods standing there.
Purebloods wouldn't be guards in a place like this, so I don't know. And yeah, I'll wait about 5 minutes and then head up.
You going up with Birdie or going up alone?
With Birdie.
Okay.
And I'll walk over, and at that point I'll kind of look around trying to appear confused, and then just sort of walk over towards those two and kind of like wave.
As you approach them, they glance to each other, and you can see nervousness for a second. Each one reaches down and puts their hand on a scimitar hanging at their side.
Yeah.
But they don't make any move to strike. You have their undivided attention now.
I don't like being in here. For some insane reason, I was told to bring this little thing to the family quarters of the Anani. I'll just make up a name.
Okay.
Which I thought should be Trouble's Down, but I couldn't find it, and maybe I would prefer not to get murdered for my incompetence. Do you know what I'm looking for?
And one of them cranes their neck behind you. Says, "Just you then."
What? And I'll, obviously gesture to Birdie.
I suppose it wouldn't take two of us to escort such a tiny slave.
Why, were you escorting a slave too? This is really strange. I mean, I know a lot of stuff has been going down the last few days, but, weird orders like this, I don't like to question, especially when any Malisons can hear you, but between you and me, everything here is just kind of fucked.
Both of you make an insight check. As the two purebloods look back and forth at each other, then back at you. One of them gives Birdie a nod. Says, "Bring him forth, I'll have a look at him."
That's an insight of 30.
A 30? How'd Birdie do?
Hold on, I accidentally closed my character sheet. It's 17 plus... I think it's plus 3. Yeah, plus 3. So 20.
If you approach these Yuan-ti, they're going to stab you and kill you.
Yeah.
And the information this gives you is that these guys are clearly not supposed to be here.
Yep. Can I walk over there and using either sleight of hand or deception stab and kill him before he stab and kills me?
You can roll an initiative roll.
And I'll kind of give a slight tug on the rope to release the slip knot on Birdie's wrists and nod to him as I step forward to feign it going towards him.
Okay.
It's a 14.
Sorry, my monster book is back here in the tunnel.
It's a good thing Birdie can't be surprised.
Oh my god, can you hear that? He just called
I
Yuan-ti
can't.
monsters. That's rude.
You are all
I know,
monsters.
right?
This is the monster campaign.
I'm an adorable
Monster.
cherub.
Monster.
Cherub.
Monster.
Monster.
You're probably the most monster of all the monsters in this group.
That's fair.
Okay.
Birdie is an asshole.
Asshole, I think, isn't a strong enough word, to be honest.
Well, like I've talked about this before in the chat, but I actually was like, Birdie, like, what am I going to do with Birdie? I know, I'll pretend he's a cat. And
All right.
that's
Raazu's not here. Adrex is not here. Wendy's not here.
That's true, I'm not.
Yep.
So, Birdie, I mean, you can slip this knot as a free action, no difficulty. You're acutely aware that these purebloods are beckoning you over. They say they want to have a look at you, but they have obvious murderous intent. You're probably not aware of why they do. Red, you absolutely know why. They're not supposed to be here. They think you are supposed to be here. They need to kill you to protect their own cover.
Yep.
right. And there's 3 of them.
There's 2 of them outside of this door.
Oh, and is that the green?
Those are the green guys, yes.
Okay. So, how close to us are they?
You hailed them from a little ways down the hall. I would say not further than maybe 15 feet, because if you're any further away than that, the echo of your conversation would be very difficult to understand.
Hmm. Okay. I'm actually going to walk forward and play bait, I think. And that to give Red. I'm going to eye Red and then walk forward slowly. But I'm going to hold an action to slip free and stab one of the guys when they make a move at me.
So you're going to move up into their threat range and then ready in action. If one of them tries to attack you, stab them instead.
Yes.
Okay. As you get up to the room, you can look inside this open door that they're standing outside. You see what looks like a stone door that was probably meant to seal the remains inside years ago. That stone door is still in place. It opens inward and it's still in place. But in the frame outside of that, you see where this more standard wooden door has been affixed that's opened outward. Looking into the room, you see the first room of what is a relatively comfortable living quarters, all things considered. You see there's torchlight coming from the back somewhere, and the quarters itself has kind of been tossed over. You see where furniture has been overturned and things are littered around. Laying on the ground, you see a dead Yuan-ti woman with the same kind of coloration as Whitesnake. And you hear what sounds like rummaging off in the back outside of your line of sight. If you're to pass through this first room, there's a second room beyond this that you can't see into.
I also misspoke. I meant to stab whatever one Red stabs, like when he goes in. But if
for bonus.
Yeah, but if you don't want to give that to me, that's fine.
I'm going to make you pick which one. When you're ready in action, just tell me right now which one you want to stab.
Stab the one on 11. Like, so that way I'll stab that one, because Red will be next to me, and we should still get the sneak attack, whatever.
So, but the trigger is if the Yuan-ti attacks you, yes?
No, when Red attacks.
When Red attacks, attack that
When
one.
Red attacks one, attack whichever one Red attack.
Red, it's your turn right now.
That way we can...
Let's move up next to him, pull out the rapier, and do some stabbing.
Okay.
Love some stabbing.
Stabbing is good.
That'll hit an armor class of 19.
A 19 will hit.
All right. I got a 28 on my hit when you are done.
For 23 damage.
23?
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is bloodied, and that triggers Birdie's.
That's 28 to hit.
That'll hit.
All right. For a total of 23.
23. And this one, before he can even get his scimitar out of his scabbard, Red closes the distance, puts his rapier through him, and immediately, Birdie, you slip out of the knot, grab your dagger, and you stab as well. And he does not even get his scimitar clear of the scabbard before he cries out, hits the floor. And for a moment, his cries are just reverberating through this hall. And you hear the rummaging inside stop.
Bonus action, give Red advantage on his first attack against the other one.
Can you give yourself advantage?
No, I'm giving. Did I say Red? I meant Birdie.
I mean, I already get advantage as long as we're next to each other.
Oh, in case you need to, you can drop back and use your bow if something goes bad or whatever.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to bring us to my purebloods.
2 rogues walking up on somebody is the biggest mistake somebody can make.
2 rogues walk up into a bar.
Get sneak attack damage.
So that one's dead. The other one disengages and moves back into the room and grabs the wooden door behind him and pulls it shut.
Mm-hmm.
Birdie, that brings it back to you.
I mean, going to try and, well, I'm not sure. Like, I can't really force the door open. I don't have the strength.
You might have just closed it. You might not have barred it.
Well, okay, I'll try opening the door.
You grab the door.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear, Red, you can hear the guy on the other side of the door is calling further back into the dwelling that they've been found out, that they've sent assassins. And Birdie, you grab the door, and he is, in fact, holding the handle on the other side. Make an opposed strength check.
Hi.
Yep. Oh, 18.
You actually beat him. You got a 15. So you feel that he's holding the handle, and you're like, I don't want to hurt myself. So you reach up and grab it with your other hand and one of your feet and your teeth. And you just jump up and lose all your weight, and you pull it and wrench the door free. And pull it out of the hallway.
So proud.
I think that's the first actual strength check I've passed this campaign.
That's your action, but you still have all your movement, and you now have an opening into the room.
Okay, I'm going to cunning action disengage.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, can I sneak past him? Like, I'm assuming it's like a 5-foot path. He's in the doorway. Can I get around him and behind him?
You'd have to disengage if you wanted to move past him without...
Right, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, you
just
do that.
Like, kind of box him in between me and Red. That's what I'm aiming for.
You're not looking into a hallway, you're looking into a room, so he's always going to have somewhere to move to. You're not going to be able to get him all completely surrounded with just 2 of you.
I know, but if he moves left or right, then he's going to be in both of our... he's going to get attacks of opportunity from both of us.
Yes, if he does not disengage, that's correct.
Right. So that's what I'm going for.
Okay, so you're just moving around the other side of him, so...
Yes.
Okay. A Malison, one of the snake-headed ones, peers around the other side of the doorway on the back of this room. This is a comfortable-looking room. Like, it's made into a living quarters that would be suitable for 1 or 2 of these Malisons, but it's fairly cramped. It's only about 12 feet onto a side, and the room beyond looks to be the same size as that again. And this Malison, one of the stake-headed ones, sees the commotion, sees his dead pureblood outside, lowers a crossbow, and fires at Birdie. Birdie, I only have an 11. I'm sorry,
That's not going to do it.
A 13. Still not
That's still not going to do it.
Fires a crossbow at Birdie. And Birdie, you whip out of the way, and this crossbow fires through the doorway past Red. Red, you see it hit the door on the other side of the wall. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't explode, but it has like a trail of fire. It jams into the wall and then ignites for a second. White hot. Hot enough to burn itself out. And he shouts at, seeing Red out there, he shouts, "Who sent you? And now it's Red's turn.
Let's stab the guy between me and Birdie to start.
Okay.
That'll hit an armor class of 20.
20 will hit.
For 31 damage.
31 damage, and he is also bloodied. And he cries out in pain as you bloody him up. Do you answer the Malison's question?
No.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and, as a bonus action...
Cast Fireball.
This would be a great room to cast Fireball in, yes.
As a bonus action, I'll give Birdie advantage on his next attack against the guy between us, just in case. And that's the end of Red's turn. Can I move in such a way that I'll be blocking him from leaving the room? Like, can I block the doorway?
Yeah, if you pretty much stand where you are to attack him, he is not going to get through the doorway. And in very desperate scramble, he does get his scimitar out and try to slash at you.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you see his main goal is to escape this area. I have a 19 to hit.
That'll hit.
And a 13 to hit.
Nope.
Okay. 6 points of slashing damage as the scimitar finds purchase. As he's trying to hack his way through you and get out of this room. Birdie, you're up.
I mean, I'm going to move to the side where... Well, no, I'm just going to stab him. Pack tactics.
The pureblood?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one in the back. So that is a 8 plus 9. So that'd be a 17 to hit.
Is that a hit?
This will probably do him unless I will incredibly roll. That is a 24 damage with my short sword.
Okay. You pierce him with the short sword through the stomach. You pull back. And he drops to the floor into a pile of his own bowels.
And I turn and run to the corner of the room to kind of keep a triangle between me and the Malison.
Okay.
In red. Where he can't get both of us with an attack.
And at this point, Red, you see the fear setting in on this Malison's face. He sees the swiftness with which you've dispatched his two purebloods. And you're pretty sure his goal now is also going to be to escape out of here.
Yep.
And to that end, he does dash in towards you, pulling his own scimitar out.
Yep.
Three melee attacks. All right. Let's do it. Not with that roll. I have a 21 and a 21.
Both of those will hit.
Okay.
Those all scimitar?
Yeah. First hit is 6 slashing damage.
Yep.
And the second hit is 11 slashing damage.
I'm going to uncanny the 11.
Okay. Very notably, you don't feel the telltale bite of poison on the edge of this weapon. Clearly he wasn't expecting, if he was going to get into a fight, he was only expecting to be fighting another Yuan-ti with whom poison would not have worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your turn now. Are you staying put in the doorway blocking his exit?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Check this. And why doesn't he go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw, DC 17?
He's not going to do that.
I suggest if you put your weapon down and confess everything to me, I may be able to make my patron show you some mercy.
What is he saving against?
Suggestion.
The suggestion spell? Your
Yep. My racial, yep.